Good morning. Um, this is Wednesday. It's the 14th of October, halfway through the month already. You will notice there's something different. A, I'm not in a clerical collar, and B, I'm obviously not in my office or your office. I am at home, and I want to thank Mother Christine Gilson for being willing to come in and celebrate the Eucharist today for the faithful who are there. I'm not there because I am to see my cardiologist here in a little while. And as mentioned that to one person the other day, and they got rather concerned about it. So don't be concerned. This is an annual meeting I have with him. It doesn't take very long, but it's already been rescheduled twice because he's not much younger than I am, and well, he is actually, but he's contemplating retirement, so he's down to seeing patients one day a week. And so we've rescheduled this to get into a new schedule for him. This doesn't take very long, but as I said, it's one of those necessary things you do each year, which is not a bad thing. It helps keep me in line. And after having a mild heart attack some 20 plus years ago in Kentucky, I just would soon forego that experience again. And it was a very minor one, but the upshot, the positive side is you get to see doctors on a more regular basis who keep looking at you and seeing how you're doing. So, it's not all bad. But not everything works the way it's supposed to be. I got a call this morning from the carpet installers. We're supposed to have carpet installed in one of our guest rooms. This is the second time they've called to put off installation. We ordered this back in just after Labor Day, as I recall, and so now I'm sent a nasty gram off to the suppliers to see what's going on, and ask a very simple question of why I shouldn't just cancel the whole thing, or are they willing to compensate me for my aggravation and I forgot the other word I used, a nice big word. But anyway, so we'll see what happens. But it just reminds me that life doesn't always go the way we think it should. We create these scenarios in our mind of how things should go, and sometimes they work out, and sometimes they don't, and it reminds us that we're not quite as much in control as we think we are. I was conversing yesterday with my granddaughter's mother, who said that she and her new husband were now in the process of buying a home. Her husband had owned a condo in a nice area of Cincinnati, and now they're moving. They're buying a house farther out, and working forward to all those things that go with new home ownership, and I really hope and pray that it all goes well for them. But sometimes, as you really know, things don't. We are hit with unexplained setbacks, and there are times we when there's a bad, we really want to go and we want to shake our fist at God and say what's going on, and so we do that, and that's perfectly all right. I know when I used to work with a group of for parents who'd lost children, lots of times there was lots of anger at God towards a child being lost, and wanting to blame God for doing this. And we would talk about that and try to work through it. But there were times we had to say, it's really okay to go out in the front yard and shake your fist at God and say, you're just mad as hell, and you're not happy with Him, and that's okay, because God is big enough to take that and to know where the hurt and the anger and the pain are residing. And God does not wish for any child to die before their time. So that's just one thing. I remember, in my own life before we came to Kansas, there were a whole series of events that went on in our lives that in looking back over 20 some odd years, we see maybe we're a little bit interconnected in some way. And yet, looking back over 20 plus years at that series of events, we see God's fingerprints all over what went on with that. And we realize that as much as we griped and complained and ranted and raved at God at the time, looking back, we realize, hey, it's worked out very well. And we see now that maybe God's plan has unfolded a little bit, and maybe it takes us a while and some distance to realize that. So we all have these times of disappointment and hurt and pain and life just not going the way it should. But I would hope that maybe we'd try to hold on to our faith and try to hang in there, and maybe God will show us at some point what was going on, and we'll understand a little bit more about maybe what His plan was, or maybe we should better way to say it, His plan that He's asked us to participate in looks like in the grand scheme of things. So there are always plans that we're making, and somebody has once said, if you want to make God laugh, tell Him your plans. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm sure God laughs, but I don't think He laughs at our pain. We have laid out over one other example. It's been about a year now that I've been the interim rector for St. Stephen's, and originally we thought maybe this would go for like 6 months. I know when I signed on, I told Bishop Bascom as we looked at the calendar that it just made sense for me to stay at least through Easter, because we planned Epiphany and Lent and then Holy Week and Easter events, and it all kind of flows together. So we thought, okay, we'll hang on until Easter, and then hopefully by then we'll be transitioning to your new rector. Well, that didn't quite work out the way we thought, did it? We had this little thing called a pandemic sneak up on us, and so we've had to readjust. We've had to readjust time schedules. We've had to readjust how we do ministry. We've had to readjust how we worship. All these things, and I'm still sometimes in my prayer saying, God, what's going on, and how's this going to work out? Ultimately, I think it will work out okay, but when you go through it, it's a little difficult. So we're in that process. We are receiving names for the new candidates, or candidates for the next rector, and the search committee and the vestry will be seeing those, I think, after the 12th of November when the nominations close, and they'll be in touch with you as to where the process is. We just hope and believe that God will lead us and direct us, and we're smart enough to follow that leading and direction and following and finding the next rector. So we hope things work out for us. They don't always work the way they want, but we still have to believe that in the end, God is in charge, and that God's will for us is only love and goodness, and that as much as we want to rant and rave sometime and ask the carpet people for compensation, nevertheless, we sometimes have to step back and look at the big picture and see what's really going on and how it affects our faith life. So as frustrating as life may be these days, I think our Lord calls us to hang on, to cling to our faith, to believe that all will be well, and to pray that that is so, and pray that you and I have the wisdom and the insight to listen to God, to do as best we can to follow where He wants to lead us, and do the best job we can in our lives as Christians and in our larger church community. So, again, thank you, Christine, for filling in for me today. actually be in the office some tomorrow. We have John Aboud's funeral at 1:30. And so, since I don't have to worry about carpet installers showing up at 8 o'clock, I will probably show up at the office around 10 or so and help get things ready. So, things don't always work out the way we want. That may or may not be a bad thing. And we just have to have faith that God is leading us in the right directions. So, here in a few minutes, I'll take off and go see my cardiologist, and I'm confident that will be fine, and that I'm confident that the carpeting will take care of itself before too long. I'm confident that the vestry and search committee will pick the right person to be the next rector of St. Stephen's. I am confident that all this is going to work out according to God's plan. So, have confidence, have faith, hang in there. We're going to get there together. So, I hope you all have a really great day. God bless you.